Alright, so today's lesson we're going to do breakable objects. So for this we're going to take a regular brush like we've been working with so far, and we're going to create an entity out of it. So a brush is, like a collection of points with planes in between it, textures, materials, and all that good stuff. When we turn it into an entity, it has value to it. We can apply effects to it. So in this case, we're going to apply a function to it, and we're going to make it a function breakable object. So its function in the game is to be breakable. So we're going to start out with glass, and then we'll move on to wood and all that stuff. So the first thing we're going to need to do is I need you to make a brush using your regular block tool here. Anywhere on your map. I'm going to do mine here in the backyard. I'm just going to make a brush. Now for glass, I want you to make it no thicker than 3. Typically, I'm going to make mine around 1 or 2 because it's glass. I believe the rule is no thicker than 5, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do 1 for the example here. All right. So there's the block I'm going to make. It's 1 block thick, and then as far as the rest of the dimensions, it doesn't matter. It's the thickness that we're concerned with. So I'm going to go ahead and create it. Alright, so here's my block. Now for glass, because glass is transparent, there's a very specific set of textures we have to put on it. So after you create your block, like I've done here, I want you to select it with the selection tool. Click on it. Go to your texture tool. Browse. And filter by the word no draw. All one word, no draw. And you can see it. It's the only one that's going to pop up. So no draw is a special texture that doesn't draw. It does not render during the game. And so when we do glass, we only want to render the glass texture, but we don't want to be able to see the glass texture from behind on the opposite side of the glass. So we basically take a glass material, we apply it to only one face, and then the rest of it gets covered in no draw. So you'll kind of see what I'm talking about as we go through it here. So I'm going to take this no draw texture, okay, no draw, and I am going to double click it and click apply. Alright, that's going to apply no draw to the entire block, all 6 sides. Right. So again, I'm going to select the block, go to my texture tool, click browse. Under filter, I'm going to type no draw. You're going to see this one here. Double click it. You should see your face edit sheet. Click apply, and that's going to apply the no draw texture to this block. Now we need to select just a single face on this block, one of the large faces on it, one of the big sides here. So what I usually do is I click off of it and then I click back on it. And what that does is you can kind of see how this side is yellow and this side is orange, and you can see it really good right there. That tells me that the orange side is selected. Alright, so again, I'm going to click off of it and then I'm going to click back on it, and you're going to see that one face turns orange. Okay. Alright, we're going to browse. In the filter, you're going to type glass window. You got to spell it right though. Okay, so in the filter, we're going to type glass window, and the material or the texture you're looking for is called glass window break 070A. And I don't want you to use B or any of these other ones. These other ones are like scenery textures for putting on like fake windows and stuff like that onto buildings. This particular texture right here, glass window break 070A, is specifically designed for what we're about to do. So don't use this one, the one that looks like static on a TV, or any of these other ones, okay? It's glass window break 070A. Double click, click apply, and you should end up with something that looks like this. So from one side you're going to see through it, it's kind of dirty glass, and then if you go around to the other side you're going to see no draw. And the no draw is on every side except the glass side. That's what you want it to look like. Okay? Alright, I'm going to save my map real quick just in case anything goes wrong. Alright, now we're going to select the piece of glass. In your two-dimensional view, okay, any one of these windows here, doesn't matter which one, any one of them, you're going to select this piece of glass. You're going to come into the two-dimensional view. You're going to right-click on it and select Tie to Entity. Okay, so again, I'm going to take my selection tool. I'm going to click on the glass, the thing that we just created. I'm going to come to the two-dimensional view. I'm going to right-click on it, Tie to Entity. You're going to get this box, Object Properties. So right now it's a func detail, which means its function is just a detail of the level. It doesn't have any special properties to it. So we're going to change the class. If you drop this menu down, go up, you're going to see a func breakable. So what that means is function breakable. So the object is now going to have a function in the game of being breakable. So we're going to select that, click apply, and then all these settings will pop up. These settings don't pop up until you click apply. Alright, so if you don't click apply, you're not going to see what I'm looking at here. You're going to see a bunch of pink stuff on here. So you have to go to Func Breakable, click apply. This menu will change, and then you're also going to see this little purple dot appear in the middle because now this thing's an entity. It's no longer just a brush. So we're going to look at a couple options here. If you look at strength, this is how much damage the object takes before it'll break. 1 means you tap it with the crowbar or shoot it once with the pistol, it's going to break. We'll just leave it at 1 for now. Material type, this is important. Right now it says glass, but if you drop this menu down, you'll see we have wood, metal, flesh, cinder block, tiles. It's got kind of a grouping of different materials here. So pick the one that's closest to what you're trying to simulate. So we're doing a window, so obviously glass is what I'm going to choose. I'm going to click apply, and that's that. Alright, so now that's glass. I'm going to test it by running it. Okay, so here's my game. It's loading up. There's the glass right there. Now I have the crowbar. I'll tell you how to get the crowbar in class, but mainly we want to see this glass. Now notice the glass is transparent from all sides. So remember, in the editor on this side it was no draw, and on this side it was glass. But in the rendered version, in the compiled version, it's applying that glass material to all sides. So we have a nice piece of glass, and it is breakable. Okay, just like this one. Right, and it's got the proper sound effects on it because we told it was glass. If you switch the material to like wood, you would hear wood when you break it. All right. So that's how we make a breakable material. Now the only difference between this glass and these boards right here is the texture I applied to it. So if you're going to do something like wood or concrete, or like a wall, like plaster or something like that that you want to be breakable, you don't have to do the no draw to it. The no draw is only applicable to glass because of the way glass renders. But if you're doing a board, we don't want a board to be transparent on its backside. So with like these boards that I've made here, they've got wood material on all their sides. Same if you were doing like a wall in your house and you wanted to have a plaster wall that your guy can smash through. You would go ahead and create the block. You would do the tie to entity, make it a Func breakable. You would click apply, set the material to wood probably, and give it some health if you wanted to. You would put a material on it like plaster, but you would put the material on all sides. So if we look at one of these boards that I made here, so these are breakable boards, you can tell they're breakable, or at least that you can tell that they're an entity because they have this little purple thing in the middle of them. But if we pull one of these off the wall, let me drag this out. So you can see it's got wood material on all sides, so it's a board. So it looks like a piece of wood. If I were doing this for my actual game, I think I would use my texture shift tool. I'd take my texture tool and I think I would shift this texture around a little bit, because you'll notice that the texture is repeating itself, and so all of my boards have the exact same wood grain, which looks kind of crappy. So I think I would probably make an adjustment here, and I would slide these around a little bit just so they look different, so it's not the same exact board all over the place inside your house. Okay. All right, so that's how we make breakable objects. It's Func breakable, so now I want you to put glass in every single window in your house. If you have a sliding glass door, go ahead and make the glass panels for it, and then we will create the actual sliding portion of the door in another lesson. But for today, all your windows should be breakable, and then if you want to add boarded up windows or doors or anything like that, you can go ahead and do that as well.